everybody, this is Steve Kodad. Welcome to another tip for Feng Shui for real estate success. This one is a very, very powerful one for trying to sell your home. The tip today is on the importance of curb appeal. I'm sure if you've been in the business long enough, you know that curb appeal is pivotal for getting that home of yours, that listing of yours sold quickly. So I always try to make it clear to a client or to a student of mine that bad curb appeal definitely means long time on market. When you have a long time on the market, you know some bad things can happen. You can lose the listing, even though they, maybe didn't take all of your tips into use. So long time in the market just gets those clients upset, and frustrates them. And let's face it, it frustrates us too as real estate professionals. I always try to mention when I was a real estate agent that if you have a very small budget to try to get that house ready to get it to be sold, I would rather you spend every cent on the outside. So if you only have a couple of $100, I'm going to work on the outside. I'm going to do certain things inside. I'm going to make sure the house is really clean, it's uncluttered, and all those really nice things. But I've got to try to get people into it. And you'll find out as we get into this that, man, the outside really has a lot to do with the amount of traffic you get. So I like to call curb appeal, in some cases nowadays, web appeal, because let's face it, this is where the buyers find their houses in a lot of cases. They definitely need real estate professionals, but you'd be surprised at the statistics of how many of them find their own homes to look at. So if you take a look at this, 60% of buyers spend a lot of time on the listing photos, a lot of time. So you've got to get the photos, the MLS photos, right. And Feng Shui, I found, really handled it well because it brought in things like contrast and color. So the curb appeal photo, which is what you're being shown right here, gets twice as many views. And it really should be the first photo in the photo deck for the MLS. And it has to be shown really, really well. If I was to work with these people, I would still want to do some things. It's a nice picture, okay? It's not straight on, but I would like to make the door more pop, and I would like to put a lot more color in the picture. But web appeal is a tremendously important thing for you to get your job done and to then move on to the next house. So let's mention several items before we even go any further. These are the things that I'm going to hit on. Number one, the flower beds in your client's house should be curvy. They should not be straight lines and perpendicular lines. Those are unnatural. And it's been proven that human beings actually find curves much more interesting than straight lines. So get your people, if they have those type of beds, to make them curvy. It moves the chi, the energy, a lot better, but it's also much more interesting on a psychological level. Frame the front door with colorful flowers and rounded pots. And another tip, I've talked to you about how you want to make the pots that frame the door rounded. You want to take away the sharpness. Then you want to soften the house as much as possible using landscaping to make it more welcoming. Some houses have such sharp edges to it. They come off as somewhat harsh and unwelcoming. And always, always, always use contrast in the yard, especially in the front yard. So again, the gardens, the flower beds, all should be curvy or circular, okay? So all of these are perfect pictures for what I'm looking for. I don't want it to look unnatural. And again, we're going to frame the front door with rounded pots with some color in it. What I tell my clients is that the color of the flowers, it's important that it does not blend in with the exterior of the house. So in this case, it's definitely not blending in. But for example, if they had white flowers, you can imagine that they're not going to get the same pop. It's not going to be as attractive in the MLS photos. So this works really well. You know, if I have a house that's brick, for example, I won't probably use red. I'd use more of a yellow or a white, something that really pops. Now, you can frame the door with the wrong type of plant and give the wrong kind of feeling out. There's several things wrong in this picture. I mean, the bed is terrible. The flower bed definitely needs some contrast. But these kind of plants that framing this door do not work. Anything that's sharp or pointy is to be taken away. Psychologically, it is not welcoming. So again, the rounded pots are what you want, and you also want to put some color in there. Now you can go overboard, you can go too far, for sure. It doesn't matter what you do. This particular person went overboard and they did some things wrong. For example, there are too many pots. So it's very difficult for a person to get up to the door in the first place. So for sure, one side or the other, take the pots away so that you've cleared the use of the handrail. Feng Shui is a lot about worrying about safety and security. So if somebody is having a problem, they're older, or they're disabled, you know, they're going to want to be able to get up to the front door to possibly view your listing, and you're taking away that possibility. You've also made the framing less. You want to get the pots further apart too. So it's very difficult to get through that situation. You have to get a little smaller to get to the door. That's not good either. So take the pots away from one side or the other. The door also blends in with the exterior. Not good. So I would definitely have them change the front door to a different color. Again, soften the corners of your house, and you'll find out it really helps it quite a bit to make it more welcoming. You know, here's using things that are planted into the ground, like trees and bushes and stuff. And you can see it even better here with respect to the columns leading up to the front door. And you can use pots, so you don't have to plant them into the ground, but you want to have things that soften those corners to make it more welcoming. And probably a lot of you have done things like this and not even knowing why it was making you feel better or feel good. But this softened the corner of this particular house. And again, notice the curvy bed. Now, I want to show you several different pictures of houses around the country. These are from California, from Tennessee, the Carolinas, into Florida. Notice anything about them? Let me go back. Notice how they're all sort of doing the same kind of thing. They're all green. Nothing stands out, including in this picture in Florida. So you really need to understand that if you're selling a house, you need it to stand out, and nothing on curb appeal or web appeal stands out more than contrast. So poor contrast, to me, needs no excitement at all. Okay, this is at least well taken care of, no excitement. Not much excitement going on in this one either. They did a great job with the landscaping, but no excitement. Green, green, green. So this is just not going to work. At least they have some pots up at the closer to the door that are got some flowers in them. But you want to add some color. Again, not just for a showing or curb appeal, but also for them to be really, really curious when they go on the computer and start looking at pictures. So color is real pivotal for you to sell a house quickly. we're almost done with this particular tip, but I want to show you a house that was worth over $1 million, and they were missing the boat big time for a lot of reasons. And hopefully, when you talk to your client, you'll give them the same tips. Notice how the bed is real poorly formed. Notice they haven't cut back the bushes at all. Anything that hides the front door should be taken away unless it's a real mature tree. And you certainly don't want anything that gives them the impression that the house is not taken care of. Here we have some stains on the exterior. So there's a lot of things that you want to consider. You can be very, very helpful, very, very helpful to your client just by making sure you tell them about these things. Thank you for watching.